Okay. Let's see here. He's got to sit. You can sit in that one. I said, Steve, sit in Gary's chair, read Gary's book.
That's fine. She said, I'm Gary. And I was like, I don't think I can do
Yes,
that.
I said, just try your best at being Gary. This has to stay plugged in. Okay. Right. Okay.
Yep. Except for the,
Oh, I looked at them all already.
who did I miss?
It's weird though.
Yeah, so the agenda's not on there. I'll give them an agenda.
Oh, Carol's gonna get you an agenda right here.
It's like blurred out.
I was explaining as to why, but I did, I went in there.
I've never seen it blurred out before.
Okay.
Technically, if you can request it, if you think it's going to.
We did start, yeah, I just hit start on the recording, so, okay.
They're wanting to demo this whole house.
Okay. And we did just hit start on our recording, just a heads up.
Okay, so the recording started.
We just hit start, so.
Welcome, everybody, to the Historic Preservation Commission meeting of August 26th, now 7 o'clock. And can we have a roll call, please?
Member Bannon. Absent. Member Delaney.
Here.
Member Herman.
Here.
Member Waterman Culpa.
Here.
I'm sorry, Vice Chairperson Waterman Culpa. Member Hanote.
Here.
Okay. Chairperson Fenster.
Here.
And Member Walker. Absent. Okay. Village Board Liaison Meyer.
Here.
Attorney Greco is absent. Administrator Cannell absent. James Quinn absent, but Gary Palumbo present. Okay. Carol, you and I are not on this. All right. Also present, Carol Beck and Sophie Kephart, village staff.
Yay, okay, thank you. So, I hope everyone had a chance to review the minutes. And can I have a motion to approve? I'll second, what the heck. Is there any changes anyone would like to make to the minutes? Any corrections? It's been a while. Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes? Any nays?
I'll say aye. I wasn't here though, but I've been told by the attorney in the past that we can still vote on
Okay.
the completeness of the minutes.
So all in favor, and we all say aye, no nays, and we're done with the minutes. Let's see. So we're gonna go down the new business. First thing we have is the sink removal in the meeting house at 5658 Main Street, which is certificate of appropriateness. I have a little bit of background on that as a board member. There's a sink that's circa 2000, maybe 2010, that's up there on the second floor in the old choir loft. And they're doing a lot of cleaning and organizing upstairs. And Mary Lothar, who is the chair of the Historical Society, would like to have it removed. And Ben agreed. And it's a rare thing that we have an interior approved as a landmark. So to do anything, even removing a 20-year-old sink needs to have approval. So that's where we sit.
Being the author of the interior nomination for the meeting house, I just opened up the document and looked at the timeline. In the 1950s, a kitchenette was installed in the mezzanine. 1980s, that kitchenette was removed due to fire code issues. And then, as you said, not in the report because it didn't really address anything after the very, very early 2000s, but it's obviously a modern sink.
It also leaks. It was just buried under things. We didn't even know it was there until about 6 months ago. So that's where we are with respect to second floor sink. It's a very small space if you've ever been up there, and we need more space to display items and such, so. And not a lot of need to have water. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
Well, can I state what the motion is? So
Oh, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 5658 Main Street, known as the Village of Lanesville Meeting House, for the removal of the mezzanine sink and cabinetry below that has been dated to to post 2000. Ray, you second that motion?
Second, Ray, second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? So that was approved, thank you.
James had given me draft resolutions that we'll finalize with vote, if there's any conditions, in this case, none, and give them to Sue to sign.
I just wanted to explain why we're working in interiors. We don't normally do that very often, so. Second item of new business is signs at 5541 former Beach Time Funeral Home, now going to be in veterinary office. Hello. And you are from the sign company.
Correct. Andrew Warren, Ulrich Sign Company, 177 Oakhurst Street. And yes, we're looking for approval to install 3 non-illuminated business signs, 2 on the front of the property facing Main Street, and then 1 on the side of the building facing Cayuga. As you can see, well, currently on the building, there are still 2 signs from the previous funeral home. We're gonna do those the same size and kind of the same style. They're 1-inch angle frame cabinets. And then on the building, or on the side of the building facing Cayuga, those will be laser cut individual acrylic letters. I have here some samples that I can bring up to the board.
Plan B. I retired, so I don't see many people anymore.
Yeah, those are the type of signs, you see them all throughout the district. They're just basic standard letters, with pins on the back of them, and go into the brick and use, obviously to secure them. And like I said, the signs on Main Street, we're just following suit for what was there before. We're just gonna take them off and put new ones up and dress them up a bit.
But slightly larger.
I don't believe so.
I believe in height, it's slightly larger. No.
Maybe, but I was told this is Chris's job, Chris McCaffrey, and he said they were the same size.
So the ones along Main Street, the 2 bookend ones.
Yep.
So I think this is supposed to be the section of the cabinet here, hand drawn in. So I don't know if I saw it, so you said it was a 1-inch cabinet?
Yeah, an angle frame. So similar, if you recall, for what we went for Acropolis, a ways back, it's gonna be a similar style sign to that. This would be, but there will not be raised letters on it, it'll just be cut vinyl.
Okay, so it will be cut vinyl.
Yeah.
And it's one piece of, it's on aluminum? And it's one piece of aluminum, nothing joined?
It's a piece of aluminum with an angle frame around it, so picture like a picture frame size.
Right. But in the past, like for oversize, we can get panning because they try to join 2 pieces.
Yeah,
and
no,
all
it
that
will,
stuff.
I
One
understand,
piece,
yes, one piece,
one piece.
no seams.
No seams. And is it, gloss or matte for the vinyl letters?
It would be, probably a gloss.
And what kind of finish on the
We
aluminum?
use a satin.
And the frame, the blue, the cabinet?
That would be the same, the satin as well.
And do you have like a Pantone color for the blue?
I do, but I don't know what that is offhand. It's whatever their logo is. We've done other properties for them before, so we would just match their other properties.
And then you're gonna install, the cabinet hardware into the mortar joints only.
Correct.
I had a question regarding with this new sign on the side. I should have, my error, I probably should have familiarized myself with the sign code, but it just looks awfully big. You know, I don't know what other people think, but it just looks
Yeah.
awfully big for that sign.
I did ask before the meeting to get some guidance.
So the wall signs, greater than 16 square feet would, well, doesn't matter. All signs go to the HBC for a landmark. You get one wall sign per facade unless a waiver is granted. And you can only be 20% of the area of the facade, any wall sign, and no more than 50 square feet, whichever is less. So I don't see the dimensions of this.
It's 148 by 40.
As
So
far
it
as
was
the size,
12.3 by, what was it, 12.3 by 3.3.
and I cannot speak to the exactness of it, but I would say in terms of size, there was, for the funeral home there before, at least by my eye and the pictures I've seen, this seems fairly comparable to what was there. I'm not saying it's the same exact size, but it's definitely not like it's way larger.
At 41 square feet, it's below the 50 max. I do not know if it's 50% of the facade. We'll have to check that. No matter what you guys do, they still need to get a permit from the code enforcement officer. So your certificate or your approval is then telling Carol and Mark to issue a sign permit. We'll do the math again. But it is, at 41 square feet, it's within the dimensional requirement
Okay,
standard.
and then, but the facade, would you say it's that first floor?
No, it's the whole, yeah, but the whole facade of,
Not the whole.
from the front to the back.
No.
There is no dimensional requirement though for historic landmarks in the village, just backing up. So it's a little bit different than planning board.
So when we went to the bank right across the street, I thought we had worked out that, there's no question that the HPC has authority, but are you not looking at any standards in the code?
Typically,
And then-
we do not. It is not something that is required. We base signage and other matters depending on the appropriateness of the application to the landmark.
I thought it was both when we did the last one. Because I remember looking at dimensions and I know you guys looked at how it would best or how it was most appropriate at each of those facades and the colors and the materials and the location. But I thought we also looked at the overall dimensions. If not, then like, it doesn't matter.
So the difference between what was existing and what is being proposed alongside Cayuga is we have a block logo, right, in the form of a circle, that is 40 inches by 40 inches, whereas before it was just text. We also, where Williamsville is on the logo, it's actually creating although there were 3 lines of text before, I believe they were smaller dimensional letters. So that where Williamsville is, that's, I believe, the added square footage to the sign than what it was. You're correct, the width doesn't seem to be very different, but it's the height that makes it different. So would the applicant be willing to shrink it by, 15% or so to be a little bit smaller and not seem like a billboard on the side of that building? I mean, your images are only showing the first floor.
Yeah.
There is a second floor there. But it seems like a very large sign for that space because now it is so busy with logos and things like that.
If that's what the board would like to see, then yes, I can bring it back to him. I'm sure he would be okay with it. Again, firstly, I feel like it looks proportioned on the building, but if the board has other, comments on it, it is a 6-inch letter, which is not very big, a 10-inch and 12, those aren't huge letters.
The 12-inch, well, let's look at the front facade, right? So you're proposing 2 signs to fill the space that was currently there. And do you know the height of the letters in the sign, because they're not dimensioned?
Yeah, I do not.
So they're much smaller, much smaller. And, that's Main Street. So here we're being asked for a foot, that is a foot for the word hospital.
So
That's pretty big. And then let's take another, well, then we're gonna put spacing between them. So that's a foot. And then we're going to add another 10 inches on that. Plus the spacing between, we'll say that's probably 3 or 4. I mean, already, here's the size of just veterinary hospital.
Starting from scratch.
That might be fine for the side of the sign, but then let's put another space, another line, and then we'll go Williamsville. It's a pretty big sign. It's 40 inches high. That's pretty big.
And it's all caps, it sounds, but,
Yeah.
it's loud, it's a loud.
No, this is the.
And I understand the need to rebrand that building, it was a
That's the
funeral home
Cayuga
for
side.
200 years,
Oh.
so, but it is very dense type. And the logo as well is very. When is it anticipated opening date, do we
I
know?
believe they're looking at like 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in there.
So they have the same.
So
Gary,
it's there.
And going around the building and doing the research, there's also a giant tree there, right? It's gonna have foliage on it for like 4 months out of the year or more. So, I mean, is that what we're trying to overcome, is foliage and trying to just overpower the fact that we have street trees? Because that is a very pedestrian environment that the tree creates. So, like, to put that large of a sign there on the side of the building, who is the individuals that are trying to be attracted in that case?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I trust your guys' judgment. If you feel you know the area much better than I, if you feel like the sign could be shrunk 15% and that's like a comparable thing, we can certainly do that. We were just designing it based off the fact that the brick portion is 142 inches and 40 inches of that 140. We thought that was, kind of acceptable, but again, it's what the board is, deeming to accept, so we're definitely open to whatever you guys will.
Is that a blue line under the Williamsville?
Yes.
Okay.
And then are you doing the gradient tones?
Yeah, that'll be, yeah, fine.
So what is that material? Is that also a coat? How are you doing that?
That would be like a laminated digital print, so the UV protected, and I don't like to use this term, but kind of think of a sticker, like a high performance sticker.
And
It
then-
scares people sometimes.
Is there a frame on this as well, or is the?
No, that'll just
white
be
one?
like a acrylic logo with that print right on it.
Okay, so the acrylic is going to make the frame, and then the digital print is going to be on the interior circle.
And the logo will be the same thickness,
Yep,
depth
it's
as
the
the
letters, yep.
So you said you've done other work for them, did it have Williamsville?
No, because it was in a different town. so
That's what- yeah, okay.
Town one.
I just thought, I think the blue dog is really, but also,
Say it to a quick hair.
yeah, I would prefer cat.
I think there is, mostly, there is a cat.
Is there?
logo.
Oh, within the
So
dog,
I
I
think
see.
that's primarily what they're doing, is
Yeah.
feline and canine.
Yeah. I get it, yeah.
Subservient to stuff.
Sort of looks like a duck. Anyway, the point being is that that's also a very big change to have an image there. So what is the suggestion?
Okay, are you proposing that they shrink that circle as well?
Oh, yeah, because it looks like they're trying to be the same height
Right.
as the,
Yeah.
as the actual height. So they're going to figure that out because you want this, you know, you spread it out to make the width, so they're all
Yeah.
exactly the same length and. Yep. So it's a little, I'm proposing, you know, a slight modification to that South Cayuga sign. I think that's more in line with was there.
And then you just shrink the logo.
Sure, we'll make it
Corresponding.
yes, it'll be proportioned to
Okay.
everything else.
Yeah, it seems sensible because it looks too big to me. Just-
And you were okay with like a 15% reduction,
Are
That
you
would be,
asking us or him?
everyone?
Everyone?
that would be, just so that you know, it would be from 41 square feet to 34.85 square feet, 35 square feet. If you approved it that way with a condition or modification, very specific to no more than 35 square feet, and that would require them to come back to Carol with revised drawings, revised permit application, then it can be approved. If not, and you're asking for it to come back here, just, I would ask that you be specific to which path you're asking for.
So are we comfortable with just having them,
So the front signs are 49 by 24, that would have down to.
I don't think that.
The front sign's okay.
So we're just-
No, but I'm just thinking about, they don't have the logo on the front, in terms of the pictorial.
Right.
logo.
So I don't think so. So are we comfortable with them just making, going through the administrative process, or does it need to come back to us?
I can make the motion so they don't need to come back as long as we follow the rules. Everyone ready for a full motion? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 5541 Main Street for the Williamsville Veterinary Hospital as submitted with the following conditions and clarifications. That sign 1 is identified on Exhibit A is a cabinet sign with an aluminum, one-piece aluminum, it's a one-piece aluminum sign with vinyl letters, with a cabinet surrounding the sign and mounted to the building as one piece. The aluminum will have a gloss white finish. The vinyl letters will have, the white aluminum will be a satin finish, as well as the blue cabinet. The vinyl letters will have a gloss finish. The cabinet will be installed with hardware into mortar joints only. And there will be 2 signs mounted where the previous signs were mounted along Main Street under the existing lights. A third sign, denoted as sign number 2 in Exhibit A, will be an acrylic letter sign, as well as a logo digitally printed and laminated on acrylic to match the thickness of the rest of the letters and line. The sign will be redesigned to be no more than 35 square feet, denoted with a hypothetical rectangle border around the sign. Again, the post-mounted acrylic will be installed in mortar joints only. The colors are as described in the packet, with a logo being a gradient of blues with white, a white dog and cat, and the letters to be white acrylic with a blue line between Williamsville and Veterinary.
That's your motion.
Yeah.
Anyone to second that? Second? Yeah, whomever.
Did you get that?
A lot of power you got.
I surely
in your hands,
did.
Sophie.
I know, right? How do I, yeah. Yes, I did. Jotted all that down.
Any
Okay.
opposed?
Delaney's gonna second.
Thank you, board.
Can I
you.
make a
How much
suggestion?
is
Huh?
Can I make a
You may have heard about
To whom?
And tell them that tree, we can't see.
Yes, yes, we did this last time, yeah. You wanna go in and make a
So we
copy or
had
you
asked
need
them
to?
to get you a copy of the exhibit that goes with the resolution. You're not gonna get the resolution for
Yeah.
up to 5 days from now.
Okay.
But if you're gonna redesign,
Yeah.
you should have the same exhibit that we will be measuring
Okay.
your redesign to. All right, you, Kate?
Have a good evening. The next item on the agenda is 137 Lake Ledge for demolition referral.
My name is Jeff Whitlinger. I'm with a company called Leader Consulting Services. I'm a professional engineer, and we were retained by Ontrack, who owns the property, to just coordinate demolition. So we put the building application package together and submitted it to the building department. And they said this was the last item on our checklist to get approval. So that's why we put on the agenda.
So the first question I have is, it appears that water damage is the main purpose.
Yeah, what happened was the house was left vacant, I don't know how long, but a number of years, and the roof was in poor condition, so the whole house has been impacted by water damage through the roof, and then there was a major pipe break on the first floor, which flooded the first floor, so it's really not worth renovating. They just want to have a vacant lot.
What's the age of the current house? Just curious.
Is it in your packet? I think it's a 1950s.
I think it's a 57.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a mid-century modern gem. And an Indian burial ground right in the back, so I did take pictures of it for anybody that wanted to see it. It's a classic ranch style.
Yeah, I actually.
You went,
Yeah, I
okay.
didn't get a chance to read it.
So there's no plans to put in, I mean, it's not for us to decide, I'm just curious if no plans to put something else in its place.
Yeah, actually, OnTrack is a company that's owned by the Keller family, and one of the Kellers lives, I don't know which house it is, either on the left or the right of this house. So they just, their initial or their immediate intent is just to do it.
And you said it's an empty for how long? Oh, wow.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
that's-
Okay, okay.
So I guess the only issue for us is this a landmark eligibility? I did look at it myself, and is, you said it's typical 1950 branch. There are some actually interesting branches on that street, but that's not one of them.
What is in the back of the house?
I don't know if it's on the building plan, there's like a little patio right off the back windows, and there's like just grass, and there's like a cliff.
So it's a ledge,
Yeah.
that's where we get the ledge
Yeah.
from.
Ledge, yeah.
I was trying to get a sense of what was back there. So you can see through the windows and it's nothing. Any thoughts, Kate, or anybody else?
Can I make copies of that?
Well, I think this is a case for demolition by neglect.
So can I have, do we need a motion on this? I don't-
That's a good question. Do we just say we're declining to
I think
landmark?
we're declining to landmark it.
I'll move to say that we've reviewed on this building, and we are not proceeding and landmarking this particular building.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any negatives? No.
So
Thank
does
you.
that decision get passed on to the building department, or do I have to?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. Right, so,
You're looking at
they have the application already,
Yes,
so they'll just get moved on then, right?
Yes.
And I should just expect.
We need to
the permit.
we need to draft the resolution will be signed by the chair.
Mhm.
Then Carol will get it.
Okay, and
Yeah.
at some point, would you say within a month I'll have a permit?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, thanks.
What's his last name? Do you know him?
You want him to wait?
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on one
Can I just
second.
get your last name? Sorry.
What's your name?
It should be in here.
So the last item of new business,
Oh, it is here.
it
Sorry.
was right at the end of, we called cul-de-sac.
Where's my? Oh, that's it, yeah. My roof. I'm at the end, right?
Oh, you know what? I think I put the wrong address.
Where it is, yeah.
150 Milton. No, you're right.
No, I put it down somewhere wrong.
Because at first we wrote
So
Kate's.
last
address.
item is 150 Milton, which is the section house, and apparently it needs new shingles.
It needs a whole new
Somebody
roof.
to represent.
I will represent the section house. I am happy to pick that baton up. So yes, so we contracted a roofer, I believe it's Weaver, if I'm not mistaken. And you have shingle samples to look at tonight and decide on a color, bearing in mind that charming coral, that asbestos
The hard color
sprinkled
match.
coral is, yeah,
Is that original, is that been determined?
I don't know. I can't imagine that it's not, only because of how it's cracking, but I am not a building expert, so.
How was the house? How was
The
building?
section house?
Yeah.
Quite old.
27?
Yeah,
Those
thank
are-
you.
Those aren't those shingles more typical of 50s, 60s work?
They're not original.
Well, you asked if they were original.
No, I said the color of the stucco was original.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant the shingles.
Oh, no, not the, no, right now it has a tarp as a roof.
Oh, I know.
What color is that tarp?
Blue.
Blue.
Actually, they
Very blue.
swapped it for a black one, guys, so it's a little more low-key now.
And has the architectural consultant advised as to any type of color scheme?
No, we haven't, not that I'm aware of. So that's been left to your decision.
Do we have any color pictures of it?
I can pull one up on Google Earth, I guess.
Oh, current or
Let's see.
historical?
Yes.
No.
I guessed it.
We have floor plans. I wrote the nomination in 17, I think.
Yeah, so we're picking, so the color of the building is yet unknown as it's being painted.
Are we planning to keep it a coral?
Well, I guess ultimately that would be your jurisdiction, right?
Or what is the village proposing? Come on, Steve. Make a decision.
Yeah, you're here. I don't guess that we've proposed anything yet, but that can be something that we discuss moving forward, and maybe pick a shingle with something in mind. Yes, there's that coral. Carol with the coral. Okay.
Do we know what kind of heating system is going in?
So this is the current.
Thank you.
You're welcome, just to jog your.
Okay, and that, what kind of?
Heating system, heating, cooling? No. So I'm gonna guess we don't wanna go with super dark color because that'll just absorb heat into the attic space.
If it's not frigid, like, that can't be right.
Megan Key said it's stucco.
Oh, no, it's
And
stucco
it's
over
stucco.
hollow tile.
Okay.
Related something,
Yes.
which is
You
why
can't say
like those
that.
cracks are
I just
forming,
filled
and
it out.
the DPW is just like.
You shut up.
I did.
Band-aid, thank you.
Yeah, so it's a special type of hollow tile that was used to construct it, so that made it impossible to move
Right.
from its original location because the hollow tile would just fall and break right the whole building. And in the meantime, the
Close it by
asbestos
accident.
stucco would completely crack and go into the environment, you know, if not done properly. So it's best to keep that building exactly where it
Okay, there
originally
we
was
go.
built.
Thank you.
And to rehab it without disruption of the materials if possible to prevent the asbestos from going into the air. So,
I don't know, the coral coloring, we have no idea if that's historic, that's
Color
just
that I've
color.
seen.
it has a bar look at it better, but it's
Alex's grandmother had a watercolor painting, that's the closest that I've seen to the original, and that one's like a grayish blue.
for the exterior or the
Yes.
roof.
Yeah, for the exterior, it's like a grayish kind of.
Yeah, that was
And we
noted in here, but
can't really say for sure that that wasn't like artistic creative license. It may have seemed kind of gray because it's an industrial landscape. So we should put it on coral or solid on coral. Definitely still coral.
So the
So you're
chimney is
gonna
original.
repaint it?
Pardon?
Are you gonna repaint it,
Well,
or you're not sure?
I mean,
'Cause I wouldn't wanna pick a
eventually,
shingle unless I-
Yeah,
Does the
so-
roof determine the color, or does the color determine the?
right, I guess ultimately, you guys are gonna be the deciding body on it, so,
I mean, the roof is gonna be permanent and expensive.
Right.
Semi-permanent.
right.
Paint can
Yeah, so,
be painted.
and knowing that obviously the coral, like even if we did decide to keep the same color, we do have to do something about the siding eventually because it is cracking. So if you're married to the coral idea, then we could say, you know, we're going to do that in the future, but it might also be an opportunity to kind of start fresh.
Right.
Well, we should be asking Alex to get a picture of his grandmother's watercolor.
Yes, let me, hang on, that may be here in the office. Where did that?
Yeah, when you.
Because I only have
I
a
may-
very bad photocopy and it's
Really?
not
I
color.
may have it, hang on, let me go check in the.
It might be sitting on her desk right now.
To a station and similar to this in Syracuse, you know? And pretty much all of those things were covered with more going towards the gray, green sort of,
I was like,
tone.
it's like gray. blue.
Yeah.
Those might be good.
you know, like these brighter things down here, or just the brownie tones.
I was thinking of like a pewter.
So it's good, better, best, it even says right
Like
here.
here,
So,
Like
so
this
what are we
sort of-
getting? Yeah.
So expensive, not so expensive.
Yeah, I know, I get that,
Do we
but
know
But
which
you wanted to tell us.
series was
I'm not,
selected?
I'm not involved.
Do we have a
That's a
budget?
question for Sophie.
Okay.
She's managing this.
well, and the whole idea, does it have to be architecturally shingles? I mean, do they have to be historically correct?
Are those just regular shingles as opposed to the architectural?
That's what I'm
Look like
asking.
we're going
Yeah.
last.
Yeah, because the architecture is nice, but they're more expensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes the lighter ones
What's the-
fight more for the rain.
Just the appearance of them.
I think she might have taken it to get it reframed, because it's not on her desk anymore.
Their question is which
Yeah.
style shingles? Is your
Landmark,
contractor-
Pro, Northgate. So there's three
Pricing.
places.
Good question.
Is there, obviously was in the budget or?
Yeah, so we're right now using the remainder of the CDBG funds that we have, which is, I think we have about 155,000. And this is coming out to, oh no, that's Meeting House doors. That's coming out to 95. So that's an excellent question. Is there one style that you guys prefer significantly over the others?
Yeah, the best.
The best one.
Yeah.
Who gave you the shingle samples? Was that Ben?
What's the warranty?
No.
Where did those come from?
10 years.
Is that-
15. That doesn't make sense. Oh, no.
Because I did the form, but then those
Oh,
appeared.
let me,
We may have more information. Hang on, sorry.
These are, exceptional.
Yeah.
And what are the plans for the station? Is it gonna be a DPW property? I mean, in terms of usage or?
Yeah, so, oh, not just for DPW. So I think the goal that the village board had was to turn it into the history museum and then also office space for the DPW crew chief, yeah. So, but an education kind of learning space, history museum. There's a nice amount of square footage in there, so you can definitely fit both.
What year was it built? I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, a 19, oh, there you go, 07.
I did see while we wait, that the sign, historical sign in front of Sweeties went up.
Yes, we posted that today too. Got a lot of good feedback on that one. It looks really nice, so.
It's long.
Like,
It's like a history
What was
class.
on the sheets?
I like it. I think it looks really nice.
I'm not-
It's starting to kind of turn into like a wayfinding feel to these signs, and I just can't say enough. I'm glad that you guys pushed for it and that it came to fruition, even after all the,
I know, the-
I'm glad that it
Thanks.
worked out. Yeah. I'm glad it worked out. And the section house sign, I mean, that looks extremely cool too. There's just an element of like hope to that property now that I think people have been waiting for a long time. The dedication ceremony that we had was really beautiful, really well attended. And it certainly drummed up a lot of interest in the property. So hoping that interest turns into donations and that those donations turn into a project budget.
Do you have a plan for fundraising for that property?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Nothing yet, but we are certainly working with Mary Lother, has some excellent contacts, people who are interested in the village and beyond of making legacy gifts and endowments that would continue the appreciation and stewardship of historic resources. So we are out there looking for somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of confused what's being proposed because there's 3 different products here, but they look like
Yes.
they have similar.
And actually those came in 2 separate avenues. So the shingle samples came into, I'm sorry, were you looking for this?
Yeah.
Shingle samples came into Carol. We are super short staffed up here right now too, you guys. So it is like a miracle everyone is here and, but those came in separately from the actual POA.
so it's Foreman Enterprises is gonna be
Okay.
doing it. And they just have material weight, wind rating, squares. They don't have any particular style of shingle or anything.
And Ben would be an awesome go-to right now if he were within cell service, but he is not. So if we need to revisit this with more specifics,
When's,
He-
Weaver or whomever planning?
Sorry, it's Foreman. It's Foreman Enterprises.
Foreman Enterprises.
When are they planning to do install?
As soon as they get the okay.
Yeah,
And do the grant, we just started another new year in July. I'm just worried about the grant, there's a grant money involved, right?
Oh, yes, but the funds that we have right now are already earmarked and appropriated. That's actually something that we get as a subrecipient from the town of Amherst, and so Lori Stillwell keeps us honest about our due dates on
You need
grant
to spend it.
reimbursements. So yes, we do need to spend it, but that's the
What's the
meeting
deadline
house one.
for it?
Yeah, that's
We have budget
Exactly.
appropriations for section house. The meeting house store is the one that's on a timer right now to spend, and we are spending it,
I
don't
don't
worry.
want it to go over the wall.
I know.
Does it have to be by, what date, I think like the end of the year, or is it?
The end of December for
Yeah.
CDBG funds, but again, those are being used for the meeting house store, which is coming in about 95, and we have about 155, so it's like by the time, and that's not including the stained glass that's going in, so that will be accounted for. Section house has village board budget approved funds. I want to say they budgeted like 120 or 150 for this year. They have a line item in the budget for the section house, which again, I can go and pull for you if you would like.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
If there's more than one style, which may have more than a different cost, if you pick the one you think is the most appropriate, when Ben gets back, if it's a
Yeah.
problem with what your agreement, the village agreement is with the contractor or what is budgeted, then it would have to come back. But if it works, then you've selected the best one.
Well, we can
Yeah.
also pick one from each category. My question
Right.
is, if we have a colored
Mhm.
picture of this,
It's a watercolor painting, so it's a little subjective.
right?
Like it could have just been,
I wouldn't go. with
Impressionist.
painting to-
you're right. So that's the only
Closest we
thing.
have to anything, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, because everything else is black and white
You know, it was
photos.
what it was there when they lived there, but the paintings also fade in its watercolor,
Right,
and
and
it fades even more.
it's abstract too. The painting it is a little bit, I'll say like impressionist a little. So
So Lehigh as a company is gone, right?
they've been bought by another railroad,
I was
which,
just wondering if there's
yes,
a way to get.
which is based in Pennsylvania, to my understanding.
Have we requested records? I mean, I'm assuming that
Um,
the railroad people might have in the past because,
that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they would be the only other body that would be like the authority to do that kind of
or
research. in the
have any
past.
kind of records
Right.
that would have indicated. I mean, that coral looks like somebody ran out of paint or, or had.
It's also a bit 60s. Yeah, I would say that's like a,
No,
Yeah.
when our family bought our house in the 60s, that was the interior color.
Yeah,
So
it's
I know it
definitely
was really cool.
it's a distinctive.
Canton Road.
There you go.
Salmon, our family called it, but it was.
Yes.
In my basement.
Yes.
We thought it was salmon. Canton Road, so.
But yeah, so it's a matter of how far we want to stretch and try to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if it's, we just pick a color
Yeah.
that would be typical of such a building, I mean, I think that would be fine, but I'm kind of thinking the coral is not the
No.
color.
No, I know. that's
And
why-
it
then once
stands
we know the
stands out
color,
over there, yeah.
And this would be, I just had one question about these.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking, I like the look of the architectural style,
Mhm.
but I do know that the standard ones are not quite as expensive. And oddly enough, on an old building, that's what they used to use. I mean, my house, they those rectangles. We changed them to the architectural because it looks a lot nicer, but I'm just thinking like, the flat regular shingles, but oddly enough, that might have been original to the building, it was just standard shingles.
Mhm.
It could have been a wood shingle roof.
Or it could have been wood, it could have been wood,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that time period was just coming out.
Yeah.
So.
And then the only other time sensitive element, I guess, which I'm realizing in conversation is weather. So
Yeah.
obviously that tarp is not going to hold up for a year, and then everything that we've put into that will likely be destroyed over winter.
No,
So
obviously, this should be approved before.
it was just kind of dawning on me that that's,
No,
yeah,
that's a good point.
it's already turning the season, so. And I have a hard time believing Ben would have set us up for this meeting knowing that there was a right brand without a note on there. That's just my experience in working with him. But I think a good idea is what you guys mentioned, which is maybe pick either one that's agreeable from each category or one color that sort of spans across the three, have kind of a backup plan, and maybe we can do an email final approval or administrative final approval when he gets back, just to double check.
Well, the only thing that seems apparent that's off the table is black because of the reflect heat.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I wouldn't do red or green or anything, you know, that would be something pretty subtle, standard.
The roof on the depot is brown, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and then the Asher Crossing is like a very muted kind of grays and, you know,
What do we have on, Train Depot right now?
I think it's a brown roof with, and then the siding is green. Yes, that one, that I think was based off of the original when it was redone.
Okay, so is it okay after we close the meeting
Mhm.
and we will, anybody that's interested in being concerned about what color the roof is, we can circle our options and then
I think I would say that's probably the most expedient way to get it done.
Is that brown or gray?
Oh, that is kind of gray. It's
Yeah, I
got
think
brown
it's
trim,
gray.
but it's gray. Yeah, so it might be nice to match that.
Because I'm thinking they probably, if they did a roof replacement and they owned both, they probably did them both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if it was the same or.
I mean, they both, I mean, they probably had wood shingles. So when they did the asphalt, they probably did them both, I'm assuming.
But I think the depot got a new, like a more recent one since then, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if we should match the two.
They are far enough apart where they're kind of their own distinct, you know, they have the.
Geography.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there's no historic roof color palettes. Asphalt.
Yeah, this stuff not gray.
So what is the
Yes,
next
it is
step?
definitely gray. Wow.
Everybody
I was
wants
wrong.
to go and look and see the concept.
Yeah, let's just impose a deadline so that, it can be done.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
Ben's gone this week, so, you know, it would be Monday before he could even tell the roofers, hey, we picked something. So I'd say as long as we can kind of decide on something by mid next week, that would be reasonable.
And if we could nail down literally one of these, say,
That's my kind of joke.
they want
I like
to
it.
choose from.
Yes.
So like mid-Wednesday,
But yeah,
or
I think that would be reasonable, yeah.
Are you going to make a motion and somehow set that in action? Or C of A?
We can make a C of
Go
A
with
motion post approval. We just circle back to the next
Just table it.
meeting and say, just for the record, this is what was
Mhm.
chosen, you know, make a motion to approve
So
it.
just make a note that it's adjourned until next meeting.
We're not working with a hostile applicant.
Ha.
some of this cranky a bit.
You can all look at my Instagram page where I post in front of the station house, wrapped in the village flag.
You probably should just.
It's like a brownish gray.
self-picture
It's a
this.
grayish.
Thank you. It does have brown undertones for sure.
Okay, so
Because if it was Because if it was wood, it would have started off brown, but then it would fade into gray.
Right,
So-
Yeah, right.
That's, yeah,
And that's why roofs like became gray color.
gray.
In asphalt, right?
History lesson wrapped in a historic landmark.
History of shingles.
Where else are you gonna get it but right here, you know?
I know, exactly.
Truly.
So I make a motion, you want to make a motion to close the meeting?
Close the meeting.
Well, so we should,
Oh.
I think we should make a motion to table that item.
Maybe miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to table the certificate of appropriateness for 150 Milton, the section house roof shingles.
On second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So that motion passes 5-0. So then.
Before adjourning,
Before we go-
yeah,
Yeah,
is there anything
before we adjourn.
miscellaneous?
There's one miscellaneous item. Before I get to that, I just want to introduce myself for the one or two of you that I haven't met. I am Steve Meyer. I was just selected to the village board in June. This is my first meeting being your liaison. So I'm the new liaison taking over for Eileen, who I know did a really good job, so I have big shoes to fill. But really excited to be here and be your liaison and be on this board. I'm really humbled to have this opportunity. So feel free to, say hello one-on-one. Happy to meet with any of you if you want to talk historic preservation or any issues in the village. My wife and I live on School Street. I've lived here pretty much my whole life. So not new to Williamsville, but new to Village Hall. But the miscellaneous item I wanted to bring up is another member of the board brought to my attention that there's a desire among some who are involved with the meeting house to potentially remove the two back pews in the meeting house. I know this might have been discussed in the past, but if you're familiar with the rows of pews there, we're talking about the two that are in the back closest to like the front doors of the meeting house. There's a desire to remove those and for now move them to the basement of the meeting house. And the reason behind this is two reasons. One, to make the meeting house more disabled friendly and accessible for folks who may be wheelchair bound, to have seating back there. And two, I suppose that it makes it easier to set up sound equipment and things like that when they need to set that type of equipment up in the meeting house. So I'm not bringing this to your attention to ask you to approve or deny this by any means. I'm bringing it to your attention to get some feedback so I can relay this to the board member who brought it to my attention. So if you have any feedback on that, happy to hear that now. Otherwise, can talk to you one-on-one or at
I
the
have
next
a
meeting.
question. So when you say the two back pews, do you mean two as in one on each side?
Yep.
Or do you mean two on each side?
One on each side, yeah. So it's the last row.
Yeah, it does
Right.
get crowded back there with the equipment.
It does, and it isn't the best space if you are disabled to bring in a wheelchair. So I think it would help in that regard. We did talk about this a little bit, like questioning how much that limits seating in that space if you remove those, and also where do you put those pews if you're removing them? And there wasn't really a good solution for that. And it was suggested the basement there could work because now
Have you been to the basement? Because I have recently.
So we asked about that because it's not, it's been wet. It's been known to be wet. Apparently, according to Ben, it is now dry down there and waterproofed. So I don't know how recently that has changed. But I suggested to Sophie earlier today, maybe the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village would want to take them, and that could be an interesting place for those. If they were to move in the first place, I'm not advocating for them to move. I'm just, be a messenger on
We're
this.
not selling them privately. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. And that
Right.
was a big push by the organization when they came in and tearing out the pews. There's another one. We
Yeah.
had a lot of go-arounds and, a lot of them need repair. And I'm all for, disability services.
Sure.
Or ability services. But I think that, we've got to think where we're doing
Absolutely.
things because it's a snowball factor after that.
Agreed.
Right, I feel like we're taking two at a time and then eventually they'll be
Yeah.
gone.
And some had already disappeared.
Mhm.
And I live on Swan. We have absolutely no sanitary sewer.
Yeah.
And recently, it's like monsoon season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though there's good drainage in parts of it, the street doesn't drain, so those are issues. And Kate's right, the basement is you know, a little,
Questionable.
That's a good point too, if some are in poor shape and I think they're all the same size,
No,
would you put the two in the back, replace two other ones that are in worse shape? You know what I mean?
they are, actually, they may look like they're the same size, but they're not.
They're not.
it's a typical church that sort of
It's like a chevron.
goes down
Yeah.
and they span out.
Yeah.
Because when you sit, you know, some people bring their own chairs and sit, but, you know, they're low, first of all.
Yeah.
And they are fragile and they curve. And so sometimes it is, as much as they look alike, you can get 3 people and 3 people and 3
Mhm.
people, but then you get 2 people and 3
Yeah, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's,
And I'd like somebody to tell me how they're gonna release the basement, because I know where the door
I
is.
was wondering about that too.
And they're not.
Well, so I guess for a moment, let's just say that we found a nice home for them, and that they were removed without damage. Let's just say that happens. Is the concept of opening up that space favorable, amenable, or something that
I
we
guess the
wouldn't
question
think
is,
about?
what is being done now? So this people in a wheelchair, for instance, can only come in the front door because of the ramp.
Mhm.
So what is being done now? I mean, I don't want to vote against
Yeah.
having disability
So I
access.
yeah.
Go ahead.
but I think too, you need to think about what the capacity of the facility
Mhm.
is. And then that's how you know, arrive at what, how many seats you would need. And the variance for these things has been really awful too.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, we need to be really cognizant of
Yeah.
where things might go.
Sure. To both those points, first in terms of what is being done now, I was in an event recently there where an individual in a wheelchair showed up, and they actually had nowhere to go but the middle aisle, and so they actually just filled the middle aisle, which I think may have posed a problem for if there was an emergency there, and then also for the individual themselves to kind of be in the middle. So I recognize that there is like an awkward scenario, but then to the second point, in terms of, I'm sorry, what was the second point? I just lost my thought there.
What is being done now. And, but, I mean, there's also a compromise where we only remove 1 pew on one side. We don't have to remove both of them. We have fought to keep those pews in that building
Yeah.
for as long as I've been.
Yeah.
It's the interior landmark.
It is an
Right.
interior, so we have, you know, it's very frustrating, there you go. It's been very frustrating
Yeah.
to, we're looking at there's actually.
Yeah, oh yeah, we can
And
see that
things that have
they're
been-
not the
You
same.
know,
Yeah.
and
The-
things that have been added
Right.
there, you know, I mean, we realize that we have to have, you know, sound and,
Yeah.
you know, make that modern or technology.
Which is the reason why they require
Excuse me.
Yeah.
windows upstairs, so.
And that's infringed upon a lot of things too, and made, you know, things difficult.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Well, I mean, so I guess at the end
And
of the
set
day,
designs also have made things almost impossible for some of the
Oh,
people
for
to
sure,
get in.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's a difficult situation.
oh, to the second point that I lost my thought on before, it was about the capacity seating. If you remove these pews, it was suggested that apparently, I suppose in the basement, I don't know how dry they are or what shape they are, but allegedly there are some banquet chairs that if you needed to backfill seating, you could replace with banquet chairs if you were like at capacity and needed.
You know
to
where a
use
lot
those.
of them came from, members of either HPC years ago,
Yeah,
that, you know, trying to bring in, and I think there's, you know, the lawn chairs and everything else down there.
right,
But, you know, they need to be solid, and some of
Yeah.
them are like the old wooden funeral home chairs,
oh, really,
Yeah.
okay.
Folding chair.
folding chairs.
Is the theater asking for this? I mean, who wants this?
I don't know if there's, sorry.
Some nameless board member.
Okay.
Okay. so-
Accessibility though is a major issue at the meeting house in general, just because it's a polling place too. So it's along with the doors and everything, like it's definitely a topic that gets brought up pretty frequently just
There's some
because it's,
legitimacy to the,
yeah.
But we
Well, I
haven't
think that
talked
there's-
about the other elephant in the room is to be modifying one pew to allow for accessible seating
right.
instead of
Mhm.
taking out two as the first proposal.
Right, maybe we can, maybe one is,
I mean, I think.
Shortened.
right,
Create
Yeah.
Just
accessible
short,
seating.
you know, it's
Right.
like my church, they just, the pews, they just took them, and then they used the same end piece, so
Right.
it looked the same.
And do you know who refinished this one that's in the hallway? Like, does anybody have the institutional
Bring
knowledge
it
and
back.
memory of? Pardon?
You have to bring it back.
I mean, they.
I got it, Gary.
Were removed
Okay.
without knowledge. too.
Okay,
And, you know, there's some really good refinishers that, do historic work. I can't remember the name of the guy. It starts with an H, and his shop is over on Elmwood Avenue. And they work with a lot of the trades now to
okay.
training. I have his card someplace. But, you know, and I've worked with them on other projects and, you know, they're good. But I think that the issue is that, you know, sometimes, you know, some of the furniture that's in there
Yeah.
isn't original to the building, and that could free up a little bit of space, especially for, you know, voting, and depending on how we're voting this in the next cycles, you know, how many stations do we need, or, you know, where can they be set up, you know?
So do you think that the modifying maybe one pew is maybe a better
Well, I have
place
another
to
question.
start, or?
So when they have shows there,
Mhm.
do they create more seating by putting chair seating in front of the front pew? Because there's a lot of space between, I don't know, a lot, but
We've
There's
done
some space
that,
between
yeah,
the two.
the arts and culture events that we've had there, that's what we've done personally, is added a first row of chairs.
so why wouldn't a wheelchair be placed in the front, which is typical to give someone, you know, a better
Right,
advantage
And
if they're-
keeping the middle aisle, which isn't wide either, but.
right, but certainly, necessary, yeah.
And I don't believe that those sides are egress. So why couldn't you block off the front row
Mhm.
with a wheelchair? Somebody could do an accessibility or an egress study of the building. But I don't think that the exterior space between the end of the pew and the wall is part of egressing for that building. So
Okay,
therefore, why couldn't, the
there's
front-
certainly a little
Yeah, sounds like
have
alleyway.
companion seating at the end of the pew with accessible seating,
Is
for the
this,
front row only.
is that something that we could create like some kind of marker for that wouldn't like attach permanently or damage the floor or wall or anything in
Just
any
take
way?
it off
But
the
could
painters.
could we
We're talking
mark
about the
it?
space between the end of the pew and the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's wide enough
There's-
for
So because it
In the
goes
front
in
row,
that
it is.
sort of
in the front.
conical pattern in the front, there would be space.
Mhm.
And to your point, to take out that whole row of chairs in the front, I mean, you could reserve that entire row for accessibility friendly seating.
Right.
So, but if we could denote that somehow in a way that, preserves dignity for the audience members that need it, I think that might be a really nice compromise.
And then having a place where a wheelchair, if they can, what do you call it, transfer themselves,
Yes.
to someplace, and then we could move the wheelchair to the back,
Right.
and there's certainly the person who is helping them, could
Mhm.
know. And most
Yeah.
people who use a wheelchair, have some identification on it anyway,
Right.
and,
I feel like these are all good
Yeah, this
suggestions
is-
to
this
take
is good
back to
feedback
them,
take
yeah.
back. I
Yeah,
think that
you know,
this is
we-
enough to bring back and keep the
Yeah,
conversation going.
we it's been a problem for quite some time,
Yeah.
but it's been exacerbated by one group.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think we've thought about it from the front. We always think about it
From the
from
back, yeah.
the back pews, but
When I spoke a couple times, they have put chairs up.
Mhm.
You feel like you're dropping right on top of their head, but that's the way it is.
Right.
it's a tight space.
Is there, wasn't there attempts to make a proscenium, or however you say it, stage, they were attaching things to make it come out?
It does come out, but maybe, you know, it already is partially.
Yeah, but I thought they were drilling things or something into the stage to make it extend.
Why they didn't come to us with that?
No, they didn't, we just found out. So
No,
maybe,
they just,
I
it's
haven't
just,
heard anything
you
about
know,
that.
it's just like seeds,
yeah,
seeds
so,
the stage.
anyway, we won't go down that nasty path, so, that's our feedback, I think that's all
Okay,
you were
this is
looking for.
useful.
Yeah, I think there's other opportunities to be exhausted prior to saying, let's rip out two pews.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
If the
And,
need is for accessibility, then someone should do a code review and find out where the passive common egress are for the building and how much is needing per the occupant load, what is the occupant load allowed during a show?
Right.
That should be posted inside the building. And from there, we can see where the space is allowed to create some accessibility seating opportunities.
Great. Yeah, this is good feedback. Thank you. I will bring this back to the board and we'll go from there.
So let's talk about the meeting house.
Okay.
So I met with Ben over at the front of the meeting house to talk about doors.
Mhm.
And there is a time crunch going on.
A little bit.
I was just there because he
We're on
said, hey,
top.
wanna come look at some doors?
Yeah.
So
Well, they're
I'm like, oh
build-
man, I saw you out yesterday.
I believe, so what I understand is that they are building the doors and they're going to invoice us as that's done, so like this week, so that we can get that taken care of from a timing standpoint, and then they're gonna just come and pop them in.
So I just wanna let everybody know what the conversation was.
I'm very excited. If you
So I'll show, Jason, and then I'll show you guys. So the new door will have a slightly smaller profile and the frame will come out. And I said, what's the big deal? Because it'll match with the transom better.
Okay.
Because that was what he was worried about.
Are they
So-
replacing the frame as well as the doors?
The transom frame is not being replaced and the framing around the door is not being replaced. But the way that the replacement door goes in, the frame, we need to put a new frame, I think, to the old frame. So that makes the actual door panel slightly more narrow. But it should line up more if you guys want to. It should line up more with the
Stay
transom.
closed.
Now, let's remember, none of this is historic from the original building. These doors are not historic to the original building. The transom is not historic to the original building, right? So we're trying to recreate what was in place during a common period of this building. So having the transoms, having the open fan, the stained glass fan, those were the features that were trying to be accomplished with the door replacement that was needed for energy efficiency and safety, and the fact that there's no threshold underneath it right now, and when all the leaves come in and all the rodents come in and everything.
So are they gonna put the stained glass in those?
People call us in the morning, hey, the
So
doors
we
are
went
flapping.
upstairs and we looked at that because that was my proposal. I didn't know the village was doing it. I just know that, I was proposing, why not make this phase 2 of this, because we do have this photo
Okay.
that shows the original stained glass, and because the other original stained glass is still in place and is existing, they could model it very easily from this photograph. So that was the proposal that we saw many moons ago, and then I kind of.
So the fan stays in place.
Yeah, so this frame exists, and then the fan, the clapboard will come out, and it will have a new stained glass piece, as it's been described to me, put into the frame. They are suggesting using possibly a mirror behind it, so that the light will reflect off of it and kind of light the fan shape, because there will be an opaque back that is currently there. So if you go up into the History Museum space now, you will see the fan border, the frame, and then everything is filled in with wood. So it's gonna remain that way. So it's opaque on the back, and then it'll have stained glass on the other side. So they were thinking mirror, and they said, well, why don't they just put it in, and if it's bad, we just paint the mirror black, and it won't matter, right? So, yeah, so on the exterior, you'll have the frame, and then you'll have the new stained glass.
And that will happen this year?
Apparently.
It's gonna happen
Yeah.
before December because it has to.
What is-
Because otherwise we can't afford it. It certainly will. They are
use
building
the
it like right
same,
now. It's very exciting.
Company who can store the stained glass,
Right.
for the rest of it. And they have created a piece to
Oh,
go
wow,
in
all
there. But they're not doing the transoms rectangles, right?
So at the risk of misspeaking, I think they are.
They think they might be,
I
okay.
think they are from what
Do all
I
three
saw, but
pieces.
this is, I believe at one point I saw rectangular designs
Okay.
that came from Solstice Glass. I can pull all of this stuff. Again, I apologize on the details. We
So
got,
they might be doing all three. It could be a surprise for everybody.
I know.
yay.
The other major change that we already approved, on the
This was
inside
Ben.
of the door, you actually see a rectangle up where the rounded glasses are. So Ben reminded me of that. He's like, there won't be that anymore. And I'm like, great, because that wasn't originally like that, so.
So those would be two clear glass,
Yes,
things like
they're
they
gonna-
are now.
Yes, so this was already approved by us.
Right.
What wasn't approved, I think, was like what to do with it, and Ben said, why don't we just leave it natural? It's gonna be, I think it's an oak or a mahogany.
Yeah, it's
It's
beautiful.
mahogany. He's like, why don't we just, clear coat it? And I'm like, well, I think that sounds really
Sounds
amazing. Yeah. So, because they said it might be getting a new facelift with a new paint job.
Yes, we have $25,000 from Genie Vinyl to paint the interior to touch up some of that detail work and, yeah, so
So,
we're excited.
Because
Yeah.
the building is rented, what,
Oh my gosh.
150 days a year?
Yeah, something crazy like that. It's really,
So
yeah,
that's a lot of wear and tear.
it is.
So just wondering, because we're interested in the perpetual health of this building,
Yes.
is the usage of this building paying towards maintenance that needs to be regularly done on the interior of this building?
Yeah, so I actually found like a historic cost and cost benefit kind of breakdown where they had been loosely recording revenue from the meeting house and maintenance. And from what I could tell in the early 2020s, it was just about breaking even on basic maintenance. But we are losing like trim pieces here and there, and like the sound equipment has to be replaced from wear and tear. And there are a number of projects that we can either tackle one at a time or apply for a CFA grant with a much higher budget where we can wrap it all up and submit. So I have a personal interest in the latter option.
So maybe we should talk about that community plan, just identifying some of the village-owned properties to include as,
Strategic historic preservation, yes, like just really getting down to the nitty gritty on stuff that, you want to see happen in the,
Because if you're talking 2020,
Mhm.
COVID, and some
Right.
things that were going on there.
right, so it's a hard time to
Things-
even
things
analyze.
Missing, things went.
I can imagine. And you can imagine forensically trying to go through those records too
Mhm.
is a little
Yeah.
weird at times,
I
but,
didn't realize the sound equipment and all that was at the village, I thought
yeah.
it was the.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be like $20,000 worth of AV equipment and sound and stuff. We're like replacing things kind of as they go right now because it was identified through whatever miracle. There was a frayed wire that was a pretty serious fire hazard. And someone spotted it and just did a good Samaritan thing and let us know. But yeah, so we're approaching a dire need for that kind of stuff. So.
It's hard to do AV equipment with all those windows, but, I mean, if you're having anyway. Anything else that anybody would like to report? If nothing, then anybody will make a motion to
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second,
Aye.
all in favor?
Okay.
All no.
18. Okay, and we'll end the stream. End the stream. End the stream. Carol, why isn't it on? We're live forever. It won't stop.
It was never running.
No, it literally just won't stop. It won't turn off, so just be aware. Okay. Well, there's certainly an easy way to do it.